Solving systems algebraically. Today we're going to use elimination. Our goal is to solve for the x and y variables. I have 6 steps here to help us quickly get through this. Step number 1. Both the x and the y have to be on the same side of the equal sign. We come back to our original problem and we look. 3x minus 4y and x plus 4y, they are both on the same side. So step number 1 is taken care of for us. A lot of times the problems will. Step number 1 is just in case they aren't. Determine which variable to eliminate. So I look at this, there's no right or wrong answer. There's just some are easier and some are more difficult. For this one, to eliminate the y's would be much easier. So step number 2, I determine which variable to eliminate. I chose the y's. Step number 3, change the coefficient of the variable to positive and minus and the same number. What does that mean? See how the y's have a negative 4 and a positive 4? 4 is the same number, but they have opposite signs. So positive and negative, the same number. Again, this one was already done for us. Step number 4, combine like terms, simplify, add, subtract as needed. So that means is if I have a positive and a negative 4, they cancel out. I have 3x plus x gives us 4x. The equal sign comes straight down. 10 minus 2 is 8. Step number 4, combine like terms. In the process, we should be canceling out one of the variables. Step number 5, solve for the remaining variable. In order to solve for x, I need to divide both sides by 4. The x cancels out, and that gives me x is equal to 2. So I completed step number 5, solve for the remaining variable. Now step number 6, substitute and solve for the second variable. So I take that x equals 2, and I can plug it in to either the top or the bottom. Again, the choice is yours, doesn't matter. I'm going to use the bottom equation just because it looks easier. So we have x plus 4y equals negative 2. Instead of writing x, I'm substituting. X is equal to 2 plus the 4y equals negative 2. Now go ahead and solve. I need to subtract the 2 to the other side. Gives me 4y is equal to negative 4. In order to get the y's by himself, I divide both sides by 4, and that gives me y is equal to negative 1. Remember, your answer is always written in an ordered pair. X comma y is an ordered pair, so I have 2 comma negative 1. Moving on to the next one. Let's run through the steps. Step 1. Both the x and y have to be on the same side. Yes, the x and the y are on the same side, and part of that is to make sure that they're lined up. If they write it backwards, then fix it so it's lined up. Step 2. Determine which variable you want to eliminate. In this case, it's not going to matter much, but I'm going to go with the x's. If you chose the y's, that's fine, but I'm going to go with the x's because they're smaller numbers. Step 3. Change the coefficient of the variable to plus and minus the same number. So what I need to do is I need to get the 2 and the negative 3 to be the same number. They're already different signs. Now think, what do both these multiply to? Well, 2 multiplies to 2, 4, 6, 8. 3 multiplies to 3, 6, 9, 12. So that means I can have a common number of 6. In order to do that, I'm going to multiply everything on the top by 3 and everything on the bottom by 2. Remember to distribute all the way through. That gives you 6x plus 15y is equal to 78, and negative 6x minus 8y is equal to negative 50. Now, step 3 is complete. I have same number, opposite symbols. Now I need to combine the like terms. 70 take away 50 is 28. 15 take away negative 8 is 7y. And 6x and 6x cancel each other out. Step 5, solve for the remaining variable. Divide both sides by 7. And you get y is equal to 4. Now for our last step, we need to substitute y equals 4 into either of the original equations. Personally, I like the top one better because it's positive numbers, so I'm going to use the top one. That gives me 2x plus 5 times the y value is 4, is equal to 26. 5 times 4 is 20. In order to get to 20 the other side, we need to subtract both sides by 20. Gives you 2x is equal to 6. Divide both sides by 2, and you get x is equal to 3. Now, you're not finished. Remember, you always need an ordered pair. x comma y. That gives you 3 comma 4. Moving on. Let's go through the steps again. Step 1. Both x and y have to be on the same side of the equal sign, and the numbers need to be on the other side. If we look at this, we have a couple problems. The numbers aren't on the other side, and the y is in front when it should be in the back. So we're going to rewrite these problems correctly. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides in order to move it to the right-hand side. That means that I'm also going to have to subtract the 23 from both sides to move it to the other side. When I rewrite the problem, I'm going to write the negative 5x in front of the 10y. No math involved, I'm just writing it in front. What that gives me is negative 5x minus 10y is equal to, now remember I subtracted this 5 to the other side, negative 5. On the bottom I have negative 9x minus 4y is equal to, and I move the 23 to the other side, negative 23. Now the problem is set up the way it should be, and I can move on to step 2, which is to determine which I want to cancel out. Do I want to cancel out the y's, or do I want to cancel out the x's? Well, I want to choose the one with the smallest numbers, just to make my life easy. If I look at the 9 and 5, the only time they're the same number is 45. That's a big number. But if I look at the 10, I can count by 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40. If I count by 4s, I have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I can make a common term of 20 for the y's, so I'm going to choose the y's to cancel out. Step 3 means I need to change or multiply this coefficient or variable in the front. What I'm going to multiply it by is a 2 on the top. That's going to give me my negative 20. And then on the bottom, I'm going to multiply by a negative 5. Negative 5 is going to give me a positive 20. Remember, I need the same number, but a different sign. So now I'm going to rewrite these problems directly beneath. Negative 10x minus 20y is equal to negative 10, and 45x plus 20y is equal to 115. Notice I chose to change the sign on the bottom equation for one reason. That way, the bigger numbers are positive, meaning after I combine like terms, I'll have positive numbers. So now we combine the like terms. I have negative 20 and positive 20y. They cancel out, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So that I have 45 take away 10 gives me 35x is equal to 115 take away 10 is 105. Now I just need to solve for x. Divide both sides by 35. And I'm left with x is equal to 3. Now that I have x equal to 3, I can plug it into one of my other equations. Now realize I have 6 equations I can work with. I can work with this blue and green one, I can work with this blue and green one, or I can work with the very front ones. Front ones look ugly. I'm going to use these middle ones right here. I can choose either the top or the bottom. Now since the top has smaller numbers, I'm going to go ahead and use the top green equation. I'll even write it in green. So I have negative 5 times, we always substitute using parentheses, 3 minus 10y is equal to negative 5. Negative 5 times 3 gives you negative 15. In order to get the 15 on the other side, I do the opposite, which is adding. Negative 10y is equal to 10. Divide both sides by negative 10. Y is equal to 10 divided by negative 10 is negative 1. My final answer always needs to be in an ordered pair. That gives me 3, negative 1. Last problem. Step number 1, are both x and y on the same side? Yes, they are. Step number 2, determine what variable I want to eliminate. I'll go ahead and eliminate these y's right here. Step number 3, change the coefficient. If I'm going to eliminate the y's, I need to multiply the 2 by a 3 in order to get 6, but I also need to multiply it by a negative. So I multiply the top by negative 3. Don't forget to distribute. I'm going to rewrite the equation just underneath. Negative 9x minus 6y is equal to negative 6. Now I'm finished with the top one. I'm not using it anymore, and I just have the bottom 2 here. Step number 4, I need to combine my like terms. So I just go straight down. 0 minus 6 is negative 6 equals, I needed to cancel out the y's. 6y take away 6y is gone. It cancels out. And 9x, take away 9x, is also gone. That gives me 0. There's nothing left. Now, we talked in the last video when substituting, and we said if your variables are gone and you have a true statement, the answer is infinitely many solutions. Here, my variables are gone, but is this a true statement? No, it's a false statement. There really should be a does not equal sign here. Because this is a false statement, my answer is no solution. Now, I needed to show my work in order to discover that the answer was no solution. But in your answer box, you would write no solution.